What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I've got my 2009 N54 335 in the garage and I am installing some catless downpipes. The stock downpipes with catalytic converters are very restrictive, so replacing them with catless downpipes frees up a ton of exhaust flow. It's not uncommon to gain 20 horsepower and 30 torque just from swapping out the downpipes. And not only that, but if you're running a JB4 tune, you can now bump it up to map 2, and if you're running MHD, you can flash stage 2. You will also notice a more aggressive exhaust tone after installing catless downpipes. Removing the cats is just like removing a small muffler, so the exhaust note will be a little bit louder. If you have a stock exhaust like I do on this 335, it should be just a tame OEM plus type of sound. But stay tuned to the end of this video to see some before and after sound clips, along with some driving impressions. I got these specific catless downpipes from ARM Motorsports. There's a few companies who make downpipes now, but ARM is the cheapest name brand, coming in at $279. I installed a set of these same downpipes on my friend's 335i and they worked great, so I see no reason to spend a ton of money on two metal pipes. These are made with 304 stainless steel, have nice welds, and even include new gaskets and hardware. At the time of this video, ARM is actually offering 10% off everything on their site, bringing these downpipes down to about 250 bucks. If you need other full bolt-on items like intakes, charge pipes, intercoolers, and inlets, they have those too. I haven't personally installed any of their other N54 parts, but it could be a good opportunity to save yourself some money. So I'll have a link down in the description to ARM's website, that way you can either buy these downpipes or anything else you might need, and that has the discount code ready to go as well. I should also mention that if you're worried about emissions, there are a few high flow catted downpipes on the market. You won't gain quite as much power, but you should still be able to pass emissions. I'll include a link to those in the description as well. Downpipes are definitely one of the first mods that I'd recommend doing after a charge pipe upgrade. Obviously, if you have a stock charge pipe, take care of that first. I already have a detailed video showing charge pipe and blow-off valve installation on my channel. I'll put a card up in the top right corner. You can tap that if you haven't seen that video already. But after installing these downpipes today, I'll be upgrading the intercooler next. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You don't want to miss that video. By the way, if you haven't already checked out my brand new merchandise, head over to beamerstreet.com. I have a ton of awesome N54 and N55 BMW inspired shirts, hoodies, hats, key tags, you name it. When you order something, you're directly supporting me and my content. I reinvest all the profit back into this channel. I really appreciate you guys. So I came up with a 5% off discount code for those of you who watch these videos. Just enter code YouTube at checkout to save that 5%. But let's go ahead and dive into this installation. Once you've got the car safely up in the air, we're going to go ahead and remove the under trays. There's a variety of 8mm bolts holding a few plastic panels on. Hopefully you've already worked on these cars before and are familiar with this part. If not, I don't know if I would recommend downpipes as your first mod on these vehicles. It's not an extremely difficult job, but it is time consuming, and if you aren't familiar with these cars, you might find it a little bit challenging. Otherwise, if you're mechanically inclined, you'll be just fine. With the main panel removed, there's two side panels in the wheel wells with more 8mm bolts and one 10mm bolt. Remove these panels on each side, that way you'll get access to then remove the lower chassis brace. This is held in by 6 16mm bolts. Go ahead and remove these and drop the brace down. Now you'll have access to the downpipes, where we're going to take a 12mm socket and try to loosen up the 4 nuts holding the cat back exhaust to the downpipes. But as you're about to see, I struggle a little bit here. A little bit of heat is going to go a long way here, so if you have a butane torch or some PB blaster, eventually I'm going to bust out the PB blaster here because I had a little problem with this one nut, as you're about to find out. But go ahead and heat these bolts up and spray them down with some lubricant to get things going. I thought the heat would be good enough, and I ended up stripping this nut a little bit. I was debating whether or not I'd put this in the video, but it just goes to show that stuff does come up here. I should have done this from the get-go, but if you have some PB blaster laying around, go ahead and squirt this on all 4 of these nuts.
These nuts? Got him!
If you don't, you might want to go get some because it's just going to help us in the long run. After letting the PB blaster soak in, I'm hitting these with heat again. I know how much these bolts suck, so I want these other 3 to come off without a problem. I really don't want to worry about stripping these like the first one. As you can see here, the combination of heat, PB blaster, and a good impact takes the other 3 bolts off without a problem. But now it's time to circle back to the first bolt that I accidentally stripped. So I'm going to go ahead and pound on a 7/16 socket. It's slightly smaller than the 12mm, but pounding that on and then impacting it off with heat and PB blaster takes care of it, no problem. With all 4 nuts removed, use a pry bar to pry back the cat back exhaust. This will give us full access to the downpipes. It's hard to get a camera up in here, but now we need to use a 13mm socket or wrench to loosen the V-band clamp holding the downpipe onto the turbo manifold. So I snuck a small stubby wrench up in there and started to loosen up that connection. With the V-band bolt removed, just use a screwdriver to pry the V-band clamp loose and free up the downpipe from the turbo. Before we can drop the downpipe, there is one more bracket holding in towards the back, and that's a 12mm nut. So I used a ratcheting wrench to get this nut loose. Now there is one under tray that I forgot to take off initially. It's the furthest one back. It's held in by another 3 8mm screws. So go ahead, take that down, and we'll have access to the rear O2 sensors. At this point, disconnect and unplug the O2 sensor in the back for this first downpipe, and then we're actually going to have to head back up under the hood of the car to disconnect the primary O2 sensor plugs. Now this part's kind of optional. Some people just disconnect the O2 sensor from the downpipe while it's still in there, but I don't like how cramped the space is, so I actually unhook the plug and give myself some slack to pull the downpipe out with both O2 sensors still in. To get access to these sensor plugs, we're going to have to remove all the cowling and the beauty cover. Again, most of this is held in by 8mm and 10mm bolts with a few clips. But once you have the beauty cover off, on the right side of the engine you're going to see 2 plugs, one with a black wire, one with a gray wire. You're going to go ahead, pull these up, and just disconnect them. These are the primary O2 sensors. They go around the back of the engine and over to the left side right by the turbo manifold. Unclip these black and gray wires from the side of the engine. Just give them enough slack so you can start to pull the downpipes down while bringing the O2 sensor wire with you. And you should have enough slack to bring the downpipe all the way out. Now I've got this cool little O2 sensor socket. We'll just slide it down. Now be careful not to damage this because we are reusing this in the new set of downpipes. So I'm going to leave this dangling and we'll go ahead and get the second downpipe removed. To get better access to this other downpipe, we're going to slightly move the steering rack. To do this, we're going to use an E12 external Torx bit and a 16mm wrench on top to completely remove the bolt on the passenger side of the car. Then head over to the driver's side and just loosen the bolt. Don't completely remove it, you just want it loose enough so you can pull the rack forward about an inch or so and give yourself some more clearance. Now you can snake your arm up through this passageway and use a small wrench or stubby ratchet and loosen the 13mm bolt on the V-band clamp for this rear turbo. Same process as the first one. Head to the back of the downpipe after loosening the V-band to disconnect the 12mm nut holding the downpipe bracket on. With the V-band clamp removed and downpipe bracket loosened, you should have enough slack in the O2 sensors to now pull this rear downpipe out. I'm going to use this same O2 sensor socket to loosen the primary O2 sensor from this downpipe and then we'll have full access to the turbos. This is a great opportunity to check the health of your turbos, see if there's any shaft play, and it's just pretty cool to see these little turbos hidden up in there. So now that we got the stock catted downpipes out, I just want to kind of show the comparison here and go over some of the hardware. But obviously you'll see the design is basically the same. Obviously these are going to fit in the same exact way. The biggest thing is just to make sure you're putting the O2 sensors in the same spots, in the same downpipe. You can't switch any four of them around. They got to go in the same exact place. So just be mindful of that. I'm going to transfer over the post-cat sensors right now, and then we will connect the pre-cat sensors once they're in the car. We've got the hardware over here. So we see the factory V-band clamps. We're going to be reusing these. We're using the bolts for those. This is a turbo to downpipe gasket. So it kind of goes in like that. These seat into the turbo. So this other one is still in the turbo. I just got to make sure, you know, if these fall out, be sure to reinsert them into the turbo and then put the new downpipes in. You can see the old downpipe to cat back gaskets here. We've got two new ones in the kit, and we've got new bolts and nuts to connect to the exhaust, so we can toss these that were all crusted on there. These are for the downpipe bracket, those two mounting points which don't exist on that. So if you want, go ahead and remove the bracket. We're not going to be reusing these nuts though. And this is the bolt and nut for the power steering rack. So everything just goes back same way we took it out. Let's go ahead and get these back in the car. Now it's time to swap over the secondary O2 sensors onto the catless downpipes, and then use the same O2 sensor socket to tighten up the primary O2 sensors on the catless downpipes, and then reinsert them up into the car. The catless downpipe for the rear turbo needs to go in first. So get that up in there. You might fight with the V-band clamp a little bit, but once you get it tight, make sure you torque that down. You don't want any leaks from the turbo to the downpipe, and then repeat the process for the other downpipe. Apparently I forgot to film me putting in the front turbo downpipe, but like I said, the process is the same. Make sure all 402 sensors are on and tight, and then tighten up the V-band clamps, make sure all the turbo gaskets are in, and then we'll head back to the exhaust portion and start worrying about mating up the downpipes to the catback exhaust. As you see here, I'm using a 3M Scotch-Brite pad to remove the old gasket crap from the stock exhaust. And then we can take our new gasket and new hardware and insert it between both flanges and start to hand tighten all four bolts. I should also mention that when you're tightening the original V-band clamps up at the turbo connection, be sure the downpipes are oriented in the way you want them to be. Make sure it lines up with the stock exhaust. There's no rubbing between either flanges. There's no rubbing of the downpipes by the motor mount or subframe. Just make sure you're good on all those areas before you put the final torque on those V-band clamps. Once it's time to tighten up the bolts at the catback connection, again, make sure the flanges aren't touching or rubbing, and then put the final torque on those once you have good clearance all around. Now we can plug back in the rear O2 sensors and get them mounted back up in their holders. Then head back up to the subframe and reinsert that bolt and nut that we initially removed to gain more clearance, and put the steering rack back in its original position. With everything bolted together and connected underneath the car, it's time for us to reconnect the primary O2 sensor plugs if you initially removed them like I did. So lower the car back down, connect these up. The wire with the gray casing goes towards the rear of the car, and the wire with the black casing gets plugged in towards the front of the car. Don't put the finishing touches on everything yet, because we want to test start the car to make sure there's no major leaks, no hiccups, and no problems. Once you've done your test startup to make sure there's no crazy exhaust leaks or anything of that nature, it's time to put everything back together. So you can re-secure the beauty cover and put back the whole complete cowl assembly up above the car. And then back underneath the car, you're going to put all the plastic under trays back on, make sure everything's secured tightly, and you're good to go. I don't know if you guys can already hear that, but One of the first impressions I have of these things is the turbo spool. All you hear is those turbos just... That was probably a terrible impression. Definitely seems more responsive just around town. But I've got JB4 and map 2 here. I'm gonna slow down to about, I don't know, 30 miles an hour. And I'm just gonna hit it and see how it feels here. Got it in sport mode, but I don't have it downshifted yet. Oh man, she kicked out and started spinning tire. She feels good though, pulling hard. Just doing slightly above the speed limit.
Why the fuck you lying?
But man, for map 2, that's impressive. Like, that feels really good. These are a great first full bolt-on mod for any N54 vehicle. If you haven't already done downpipes, just do them. That being said, the links are all down in the description to get yourself some downpipes. And now that I'm cleaned up, I'm wearing a fresh tee. This is also available on beamerstreet.com, so be sure to head over there, check it out, buy some stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.